Guys, deluded, I'm back again. Now, we know we need a centre half, and there's talk of Socrates coming in to the club. So, with that being said, I know we're linked with other centre halves, specifically younger centre halves, to accompany his arrival. You can kind of tick off a centre half off our list in the sense that, yeah, it might not be the centre half that we want, not getting at the player. I mean, if you were to ask people what centre half they'd bring in or were looking at, Socrates probably wouldn't be on most fans' lists, but he's arriving, so that probably marks our end to at least signing a, what I would, for want of a better word, a centre half ready to walk into our first team because I can't phrase it any other way. I saw us linked with Dakonam. Now, for those who know the player, he plays for Getafe, and I'm not gonna sit here and say I've watched man for 30 plus games and extensively because I haven't. Like I've watched two games, literally him versus Seville, and I believe that he played against Villarreal as well. I have seen a bit of Getafe, but I wasn't preying him specifically or under the microscope like that, or he didn't necessarily catch my eye. But since we've been linked with the player, I thought let me do my own research and look into him. And I've been looking at clips of him, what he brings in, and I need to watch more 90 minutes of him to see what he does poorly, so I can bring it to you guys. But he looks decent, man. Obviously, the first thing has got to be said. I'm scared of any centre half that Arsenal specifically signs from La Liga. I mean, the last two, Mustafi and definitely Scalacci, have not treated us well at all. But when you look at his profile, it's very interesting, and it is something that I know Wenger's not here anymore, but it'd be right up Wenger Street. Firstly, his journey into football. I mean, he's a Togo international, but he moved not very early, but he's moved and lived in Cameroon, I believe, and he's lived in Benin to try and deal with it, to try and become a footballer and things like that. He's had a trial in France. He spent time in the second division in Spain, so this shows you someone that's adaptable, living in different environments, different cultures. If we look at specifically Benin and Cameroon, yes, Benin, Cameroon, and Togo are all in Africa, but if we're not ignorant for a second, they're all no. If we just use common sense, there's all different ways of life. So I'm not from either of the three nations, but I'm pretty sure what happens in one doesn't happen in the other, and it's all very much different sorts of life. So he's had to adapt, man, and he's had to fight. He's had to fight to have a career at the top level, man. I mean, it even took him. I forgot, is it Alcaron? I can't say their name, but I'm so sure the second division team he joined, he began his trial in August. I wasn't signed until October. So he's someone that's a fight. That's a fighter and things like that, man. He's 26 years of age, so he's in his prime. He's made 36 La Liga starts for Getafe, and it's his first season for them. It could even be his first season in the top flight, so it's even more impressive. I did see some stats. I believe their defensive stats are only bettered by, I believe, Barcelona and Atletico Madrid. I could be wrong. So he's a part of that. Obviously, we can't read into stats too much because as well as him being a decent defender and the rest of the team doing their job, how the team sets up, managers, all these things play a part. So we can't just attribute that just to him. But he is likable. Like he is likable. I mean, he hasn't got the profile, but he's pacey. He's committed in a tackle. He's good at ball playing with out of his feet. For a small player, I mean, he's just about 6 foot, I believe, from what I see. Anyways, he's decent in the air. He's committed. He doesn't panic. His concentration appears decent. He's firm in a challenge and he means it. And he's made some good interceptions and clearances. So this is what you want to see. He looks like someone that's a willingness to always be aware of what's going on around him, which that couldn't be said for Arsenal. He's decent. He's pacey. He's mobile. I believe he can actually fill in at right back as well. I know we signed Liechtenstein, but if you've got man that can cover in positions, that's some depth in it. So he looks decent, man. He doesn't panic. He's decent on the ball, which is probably central to how Emery likes to play and things like that. Like, yeah, man. He spent time in a lot of different places. Like I said, I'm not gonna sit and act like a genius on the man, but he looks decent. I mean, if Getafe only conceded 33 goals, and they're only, I mean, if only Atletico Madrid and Barcelona, I mean, Barcelona are expected to beat every team, and Simeone's men are renowned for their defensive setup. So while it's not just him, and we can't read too much into that, he has to be quite a decent defender. So hopefully we move for him. Now there's talk of Seville in for him. There's talk of there's a couple of clubs in for him. Allegedly his release clause is 30 million and things like that. I wouldn't want to pay the 30 mil. I wouldn't lie to you guys. So it probably will not happen in that regard. So yeah, man, I need to do a bit more research and get clued up on the player a bit more. But he does look decent, to be honest. Definitely better than what I thought it'd be when I first saw the name linked, man. I can see the angle for this. It won't happen, but if nothing more, I hope I've provided you guys a decent vid. And on that note, guys, Deluded. I'm out. Get in the comments, subscribe, and do the rest.